Most people look at a rock and see, well, a rock. But in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you why certain rocks are the only reason your iPhone exists, and why the specialty minerals sector is currently undergoing a great divergence. At HDIN Research, we don't just track commodities, we track the invisible foundation of the global tech stack. Think of minerals as the flour of the high-tech cake. If the flour is contaminated, the $3 trillion cake doesn't bake. Let's dive into the 2026 strategic audit. This chart is a divorce certificate. For decades, revenue and volume moved in lockstep, like an old married couple. But look at 2026. Unit economics are decoupling. While total volume is flatlining, the value per ton for high-purity minerals is launching like a SpaceX rocket. We've moved from selling weight to selling precision. If your portfolio is still betting on bulk tonnage, you're essentially bringing a knife to a laser fight. In the mineral world, owning a mine is just having groceries. Owning the processing tech is owning the Michelin star kitchen. The triple pillar defense isn't just industry jargon, it's a survival kit. Exclusive access to high-purity deposits is now so rare that it's effectively a, quote, geological lottery. When Imerys controls TQC quartz, they aren't just a supplier, they are the gatekeepers of the solar industry. It's like owning the only source of water in a desert, but the water also happens to be patent protected. Size used to be a flex. Now, it's often a liability. Watching a global giant try to pivot is like watching a heavyweight boxer try to perform Swan Lake. It's slow and expensive. Meanwhile, look at USLM. They generated $1.08 million in revenue per employee. That's enough to buy a fleet of Teslas for every single staff member every year. They've built a geographic monopoly so tight that transporting their product more than 400 miles is economically suicidal for competitors. They don't need to be global, they just need to own the fortress. Growth in 2026 is a tale of two cities. Imerys is a $3.8 billion supertanker, while USLM is a $373 million speedboat. But look at the trajectory. USLM is growing at 17% by doing one thing perfectly. In this market, the middle ground is a death trap. You either have the massive balance sheet to weather a 10-year cycle, or the niche agility to charge a, quote, premium for speed. If you're stuck in the $100 million range without a tech moat, you're just a snack for the bigger fish. 36% net profit margin. Let that sink in. In an industry that literally involves digging holes in the ground, USLM is printing money with the efficiency of a software company. This isn't luck, it's a permitting moat. Getting a new lime kiln permitted in 2026 is harder than getting a permit to build a nuclear reactor on Mars. They've essentially turned government bureaucracy into a competitive advantage. It's the ultimate airport price logic. You pay more because they are the only ones at the gate. We are witnessing a mass exodus. Companies are dumping legacy paper assets like they're radioactive. Why? Because the future is electric. The rotation into functional additives for EV batteries and carbon nanotubes is the 2026 version of the gold rush. Swapping a flip phone business for a Neuralink business is expensive. But staying in paper is essentially deciding to go down with the Titanic while holding a welcome sign for the iceberg. Everyone talks about the AI gold rush, but nobody talks about the gravel it's built on. Before you can train a LLM, you need a data center. And before you have a data center, you need soil stabilization and high-spec aggregates. We are seeing a 17% revenue surge in limestone, just from server farm infrastructure. AI isn't just code. It's tons of specialized minerals physically holding the cloud together. Your favorite GPU is currently sitting on a bed of specialized minerals. Data center construction is specialty construction. It's rigid, it's high volume, and it's completely price inelastic. When a tech giant is building a $5 billion cluster, they don't haggle over the price of lime for soil stabilization. They pay for guaranteed uptime. We are selling the shovels to the AI miners, and the shovels are made of high-purity limestone. In 2026, if you aren't spending on R&D, you're just waiting for your liquidation sale. Imerys has 9 tech centers. Anhui Jinyan is spending nearly 4% of sales on smart sorting. You have two choices. Invest in atoms, which is material science, or efficiency, which is process engineering. Trying to do neither is like trying to run a marathon in flip-flops. You'll finish eventually, but you won't like the result. Geography is destiny. If 95% of your revenue comes from one region, you aren't a business. You're a hostage to that region's economy. Imerys' distribution across EMEA, the Americas, and APAC is a masterpiece of geopolitical hedging. They can lose a market and keep the crown. Meanwhile, the regional players are all in, on one hand. It's high-stakes poker where the table is the local GDP. 99.999% purity. In the semiconductor world, pretty clean is the same as totally ruined. High-purity quartz, HPQ, is the ultimate moat because you can't just make it in a lab, you have to find it. Looking for semiconductor-grade quartz is like looking for one specific grain of sand in the Sahara. Once you find it and patent the processing, you don't just have a customer. You have a devotee who will pay almost anything to keep their yield rates from crashing. Sustainability is usually marketed as saving the planet, but for mineral CEOs, it's about saving the moat. We call it the green ceiling. The higher the environmental standards, the harder it is for a new, cheap competitor to enter. The big players are leaning into regulation because they can afford the compliance. It's the ultimate VIP fence. You pay the environmental tax to keep the amateurs out. As coal declines, the desulfurization market is drying up. But nature abhors a vacuum, and so does capital. The new frontier? PFAS remediation, removing forever chemicals from our water. This is a permanent, high-margin market. Every time a new water safety regulation is passed, MTI's value proposition increases. We aren't just mining, we're filtering the future. The pie is changing flavor. Look at the shrinking slice for legacy paper. It's being cannibalized to feed the plastics and EV segments. By 2026, the high-margin additives for polymers make up 45% of the mix. We are witnessing the industrial version of natural selection. If you don't evolve your revenue mix, the market will do it for you, and it won't be pretty. The 2026 clock is ticking. Q1 is about lithium feasibility. Q2 is the Texas kiln expansion for AI infrastructure. Every quarter is a milestone in the race for tech dominance. This isn't a 5-year plan. It's a high-speed chase. The companies hitting these markers are the ones you'll be reading about in the 2030 Fortune list. The others? There'll be case studies in how to get disrupted. Here is the so what. In 2026, you don't buy a mineral company for the minerals. You buy it for the magic those minerals perform in a laboratory. The great divergence has separated the dirt diggers from the functional enablers. Sustainable alpha lives at the intersection of geological scarcity and molecular engineering. If your strategy doesn't bridge atoms and AI, you're just digging a hole for your own capital. Strategic insight is the only hedge against volatility. If you want the full-page data set, the uncut version of this analysis, email us at sales@hdinresearch.com. Join the conversation in the comments. Are you betting on the global giants or the regional fortresses? Don't forget to follow at HDIN230 for more high-level deep dives. This is HDIN Research. Stay precise,